Shh. She whispered through the crack in the wall. Listen. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm still here. Do you hear? She stretched her hands outside. Less than 5 minutes, that's all the time my hands have to tell you what those hands told me. Less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds for me to convey to you that this girl did not make it home. She left that morning, reassuring her worried mother in Farsi that she would be all right. Na Maman June, I will not get close to university. The students have barricaded themselves inside. The besieged are everywhere. Her only crime was to pass by the wrong motorcycle at the wrong time. Her beauty vibrant, her rebellion intoxicating. She disappeared. Her shawl was left on the curbside. 15 days later, her worried sick father received an anonymous phone call that her daughter has a moral problem. And her nearly unconscious body can be found among thousands of others in the hospital. Less than 3.5 minutes left from my hands to tell you what her hands told me. Do you hear me? I'm still here, she said. These hands are 20 kilometers long protest. These hands, locked in thousands of other hands, make human chains. No, they can't beat us. These hands are protection. Unbreakable. Unlike the bars of the prisons they lock us in, these hands grip the torch of victory until the Olympic of equality, maybe even to a soccer game. These hands with lines, calloused, cut, bruised, are 1,000,000 strong. These hands are the silent march until dawn. These hands are the loud cries, barely heard, barely voiced, on the flat rooftops of homes. These hands are breaking the deafening tone of screeching cries. These hands are seeking light. These hands are carrying the fire of Zarathustra, ancestry, history, legacy, mystic poetry, beating drums. These hands are rising from the ashes of our parents' revolution, disillusioned votes, movements, university meetings, beatings, wartime memories, and lost hopes. These hands are the phoenix rising from the incinerated past of our grandfather's basements. These hands are the growing seed from our mother's stillborn children. I am here. I am here, she whispered, whimpered, cried, screamed, shouted. I am here. These hands are rising, rising from the ashes of the bodies they've burned, dumped in the desert unidentified, rising from the graveyards where mothers in black walk every Friday with pictures of their children hanging on their necks. These hands are rising from the morgues where there's no more room for death. They've arbitrarily filled it with bodies, bodies, bodies. Rising from the stadiums turned into detention facilities, rising from students who are kicked out, locked up, sent out, exiled for intellectual debate, rising from beaten journalists, professors, shot down papers and magazines, rising from the foul smell of destroyed photographs, tapes, rising from false confessions and shattered dignities, rising from Evin 209 and Gohardash from the massacre of '88. Rising from the public execution of children in town squares. Rising from the violent assaults by the besieged, revolutionary guards, by boys in plain clothes who are in Afghan narcotics. Rising from tears streaming down, strolling through tear grass, bombarded by white phosphates. Rising from carrying the shame and fear of rape. Rising from the 29 days late phone call to our mothers after we've been shot. Rising from being hospitalized with torn torsos and ripped thighs. Rising from toleration for moral police and moral codes. Rising from the assault on the humanity of men, women, children, young and old. Rising from the perversion of clerical authority. From the iron grip of Holy Scripture. Rising from intimidation and scare tactics. Rising from one single color to embrace the full picture, rising into action verbs, collaborated civil disobedience. I am here. I am here. There is no question or debate. It was not a democratic election. These hands are rising from sedation, apathy, cynical submission. These hands are rising, waking from our slumber. It's been too long, 10 years since 1999, but we're rising. These hands cannot accept that a woman is half of a man when witness to a crime. These hands cannot accept being stoned. These hands cannot accept stoning, barbaric flaws of flogging, long hours of no food, solitude, watching loved ones being tortured for simply speaking, writing, singing, drinking. These hands cannot accept a minority second-rate position. These hands are rising, grassroots, door to door, petition by petition. These hands are willing to carry dirt. These hands are willing to work for freedom. These hands are not products manufactured, sold, or bought. These hands will not stand to be dismissed during negotiations and are not formed by any Western nations. I am here. I am here. These hands were born out of discontent, risking to take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. These hands are ready to sing again, to dance again, to write again, to create again, to rebuild again. Can you hear me?